Hey everyone, so I just wanted to check in with you all. I know that we've all been having a very trying week. This virus has impacted the lives of so many of us. Schools are closing, jobs and corporations are requiring for their employees to work at home. We've constantly been talking about how Corona has been impacting us physically, but I also want to make sure that we're targeting the mental health component of this. So what we know about this virus is that it's definitely something that's been significantly talked about in the media. And so if you're an individual who already experiences anxiety, hearing about this virus constantly and fearing it and worrying about what might happen next can definitely exacerbate some of those symptoms. So I just wanted to take this time to share a few tips with you all that I've also been sharing with my clients. So here we go. Number one, we want to make sure that we're continuing to sanitize our hands. Wash your hands, sing happy birthday while you're washing your hands, or whatever you want to do to make sure you're washing your hands for 30 minutes with warm water and soap. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we are limiting contact with other people to the best of our ability. So if you're in public places, try your best not to shake hands and hug and things of that nature. Bump an elbow if you need to show your love and appreciation, show verbal forms of love and expression when necessary, but we definitely want to avoid physical contact at all costs during this period. However, I definitely want to touch on the fact that, as a believer, I'm a firm believer in operating and functioning in faith and wisdom and not fear. So because we put these precautions in place doesn't mean that we're necessarily fearful. It just means that, we're wise. Number two, I definitely want to harp on the importance of looking at how this virus can definitely impact anxiety, right? And so what we know about anxiety is that one of the characteristics or symptoms of anxiety is related to having an intolerance of uncertainty, right? And so one of the realities about this virus is the fact that there's a lot that we just don't know about it. And that can be anxiety provoking for a lot of people. However, what we know about anxiety and having that intolerance of uncertainty is that when we constantly ruminate or constantly think about, worry thoughts and, how is this going to work out? And what if I get sick? If we constantly allow those worry thoughts to play in our heads over and over again, like a broken record or what we call rumination, then that will exacerbate our symptoms of anxiety, right? And so we want to take this time to just do our best with challenging those negative thoughts or kind of changing your thought pattern to a more helpful way of thinking, right? And so, again, going back to the Bible, let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. We want to confess that we have the mind of Christ during this season. We also want to think on things that are lovely, pure, wholesome. Philippians 4:8. If I could just quote that really quickly, fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure, lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. So now is not the time to harp on the uncertainty. Now is not the time to try to figure out what could happen or what may happen later down the road. We want to think on the things of Christ because at the end of the day, that's what's going to sustain us at the end. And lastly, we want to make sure that we are limiting our social media consumption. Anytime there's like a pandemic or tragedy occurring in the world, it's like we have this constant need to want to watch everything and read every article. And when we don't have to do that, I'm not saying not to stay informed. I want you all to stay informed. However, I also want us to use wisdom in that regard. So it wouldn't necessarily be wise for you to watch every single thing and to read everything about this virus, especially if it's exacerbating symptoms of anxiety for you. This virus is definitely something that is debilitating for a lot of people. A lot of our lives are being impacted. It's definitely a trying time, and also we will persevere through this together. So Dr. Chanda here. I'm just here to help y'all. Let me know if you have any questions, all right? Okay.